working twice as hard for something you already got. Another orange morning, it's time to show. Another orange morning, it's time to grow. Another orange morning, let the updates flow. Another orange morning, you already know. Friends are coming through the door. Wheels are spinning on the floor. We don't know what we don't know. That's the only way to grow. Another orange morning, it's time to show. Another orange morning, it's time to grow. Another orange morning, let the updates flow. Another orange morning, you already know. What you're looking for is in your hand, been there all along. Pour another cup and pull a chair. Sing along. Another orange morning, it's time to show. Another orange morning, it's time to grow. Another orange morning, let the updates flow. Another orange morning, you already know.
Good morning, HubSpot Nation. Happy Wednesday. Good morning, Casey. How you doing?
Good morning, Chris. I am doing well. I'm doing well.
That's good. That's good. A light day today, I guess. Yeah.
For the updates, yeah, only 3 updates yesterday. But that means we can run through all of them. So
Indeed. And we will dive in before getting to our mystery object of the day. Mystery because I have not decided what it is yet. And then will it workflow a little bit later on. But let's get into some updates. We've got subscriptions, event data in report tool. I think we're just decided that subscriptions is also going to be the object of the day. Something I love to explain to people is the difference between the word subscription, depending on where you see it in HubSpot portal. For this one, you can now use subscriptions event data for individual subscription statuses via the report tool to build views, easily track, and analyze subscriber data over time. Include source of opt change, status change, date, and more.
why does it matter? This gives marketers access to subscription analytics so that they can optimize their email strategy, make data-driven decisions about campaigns, measure list growth, understand why people are unsubscribing, and or demonstrate the ROI of marketing efforts to stakeholders. So this sounds like this is the email subscriptions, right?
Yes, the communication subscriptions, not to be confused with, but always confused with commerce subscriptions. And until you really get to like the word unsubscribing in the stuff we read, like all of it could apply to either.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly wasn't. I was thinking commerce when I read the title.
Right. I've started looking at this, the app, and I realize you're sharing your screen. I am not sharing my screen.
Well, it helps that Who Gets It is Marketing Pro, Marketing Enterprise, but I'm guessing in details, yeah, products.
So if you close this side panel, it says communication preferences under the app.
So that was a serious hint.
Yeah, that would say commerce, I think, otherwise. But yeah, so either way, more engagement data is now available or is in private beta. Is it private beta? But the description says private beta on the top, but it's live in the tool. Okay. This is our first week back, folks. Okay. Like, let me get back into the groove here.
Well, this is not, I don't think this is your fault. This is a ongoing like confusion, an ongoing confusion.
Yes. So it is live for Marketing Pro, Marketing Enterprise, Marketing Plus Pro, and Marketing Plus Enterprise. Yeah, bring in all of the engagement data that you can. Kind of surprised this hasn't been available before.
It was definitely a gap, period. It was a gap.
All right.
Next up.
Next up, tags in dashboards.
Mhm.
You can now add, remove, and filter tags on dashboards, including bulk actions and filter-based selections to organize and locate dashboards faster.
Why does it matter? As the number of dashboards in your account grows, finding the right one gets harder. Dashboard tags let you organize dashboards by project, team, campaign, or any label that fits your workflow, so you spend less time searching and more time acting on your data. Tags have existed on reports for a little while, and so this is kind of as they've expanded, I think, to now dashboards as well. But I like to think of tags personally, and I'm hesitating because I'm not sure if this is a controversial opinion, but I like to think of tags as like almost a foldering structure or categorization structure inside of reports. Reports don't have folders, but I remember a while ago I did a product walkthrough with the reporting team regarding tags specifically, and they were asking how I would use them, and I basically said I think this kind of almost works as a foldering structure, but it's more dynamic than a folder because you can have multiple tags. You can only have one folder.
Yes. Because we still have reporting folders, right?
Correct.
And I am so happy about that, even though every admin always asks for it. If you've ever been into a Salesforce instance in the reporting folders area, it is not fun at all. And like, I'm glad that they did not develop into that. Also tagging, like, and metadata management in general, AI is going to be way better at it. And now they're just creating that space for it to be applied. So I'd say if you jump into this, I would start working with Breeze to like make sure you develop a tagging structure that can be understood and maintained, so you don't end up with 50 tags in like the first 5 days. Right.
But I agree. I think tags are better here because, I mean, it's so common that a report is a sales and marketing report, and it's easier to be able to tag them as both sales and marketing rather than either have them in one folder and the other team doesn't know about it, or the worst case, in my opinion, is having like two versions. That's actually the worst one. I was gonna say like a sales folder, a marketing folder, and a sales and marketing folder, so like people have to check. But two versions of the report is the worst case scenario because they're never gonna stay the same.
Yeah. Yep. Down with silos. Third on the list today, email quality checks. Looks like we're aligned that this is actually in private beta. What is it? Email quality checks are a built-in AI review in HubSpot's email editor. They scan your email before you send, looking for common issues like spelling and grammar, spam triggers, broken links, missing token fallbacks, date formatting, a weak first sentence hook. Calm down. My words, not HubSpot's. Off-brand voice, and how AI inbox assistants will summarize your email to recipients.
That's fascinating, actually. Why does this matter? Sending email, well, Sending email well means catching the small things and the strategic ones. A stray typo, a token that never populated, a subject line that reads as spam, a first sentence that won't pull anyone in, a brand voice that drifts off. Today, that review lives across test sends, browser extensions, and Slack pings to a teammate. Email quality checks bring it into the editor you're already working in. Every team has its own standards, so you can add custom AI-powered checks for specific voice, tone, or content requirements and adjust the severity of those custom checks to match how strict you want to be. I do consider myself an email marketer. It's Chris's least favorite thing about me, probably. There's might be
I
more
mean,
than one least favorite.
you fill a great gap in my life, so I appreciate that part.
I feel like there's a long list Chris has of
Like,
things.
oh, you want help with emailing HubSpot? Head over to Casey.
Everything. This is really big though. Pieces of this have already existed. I want to acknowledge that. Like HubSpot was already flagging things like missing token fallbacks, and even broken links, I think. But a very small piece of the bigger picture here. And I want to just highlight that, like, while those small things might have already been addressed, this is looking at a much wider scope. And the thing I'm most excited about is the custom AI powered checks for specific voice, tone, or content requirements. I have worked with many teams, and I commonly tell people, I just said it to a client recently, last week. The first email I write for you is not going to be the right anything because it's my first time writing for you. But be patient with me, give me feedback, and eventually we will get to a point where the edits are quite minor. So this is amazing because like that's it. Like I have teams that are like, I remember I have one client, this is years ago, I had a client who orphan text was the bane of her existence. Do you know what orphan text is, Chris?
Not as it relates to email. Maybe not as it relates to anything.
So when there's one word and it breaks at the end. I had a client who hated it. And it was a little complicated in email because email, you can't exactly control where things are going.
This is why. Oh my gosh. So much energy spent on things like that when you have no control over where it's going to be viewed on the other side. Like, and bless HubSpot for creating the scenario where you can test 200 whatever email clients and mobile and desktop and all the things. But at the end of the day, I guarantee the person reading, if they read it in the first place, and now they might not because AI inbox assistants will summarize your email. And then what if the assistant has an orphan word? Oh man.
But how the AI assistant's going to summarize, this is a big deal. This is a big deal, everyone.
Yeah, this is huge. And while this is probably written by AI, I can only imagine a human, not unlike Casey, drafting this first sentence and just reminiscing on all of the problems that a stray typo and a token that never populated.
So I'm very happy today. This is a big day for me. This is a big day for me, everyone. May 5th, 2026.
Yes, Cinco de Mayo, 2026. Hope everyone had a happy and safe one last night if you chose to celebrate.
Andy spent an hour waiting for tacos at the gas station we like our tacos from.
Wow. tacos from a gas station within a 1 hour wait. That means they're pretty insane, like in terms
They're
of
good.
like how good they are.
They're good tacos.
Um,
I will say, I live in Maryland. You live in Texas. The quality of tacos improves the more south you go. That's just taco law.
that's the rule. That's probably accurate.
So they're insane for Maryland tacos, is what I guess I'm trying to say.
Yes. I think I'm gonna play with the schedule a little bit today, and I think we should jump right into Will It Workflow. What do you think?
Okay, that's fine. I'm ready. Ready to
Spin
spin? We
it.
need
Need some. That's
George
what we're
for that.
missing, George, for all of the sound effects right now, for sure.
Oh, every time we do this part stresses me out. Okay, so we're starting with a meeting. The app is Google Drive, and we're going to trigger approval. Okay, this actually makes sense.
Yep. And if you haven't checked it out yet, meetings are much more full objects than they used to be. So that's probably awareness point number one for most people watching.
So let's go in. Okay, so our first Will It workflow. Let's actually play with this though, because we're going to do a meeting, which is a new workflow trigger. Look at that. Very cool. This is very new it's very new to be able to trigger enrollment by a meeting. I'm very excited about that in general. So that's all I have to say about that. But I would say in theory,
Like, can we just look at
outcome.
those options in that first thing? Was it that? Whatever you clicked on.
When an event occurs?
Yeah, like data events, like playbook log, property value changed, record created, and workflow events too, related to
Meetings.
a meeting record, right?
Yeah, so out of the triggers, I use so a long time ago, our only option was when filter criteria is met. And then we got the introduction of when event occurs. And the based on schedule was somewhere in there too. Actually, that might have been available longer too. I use when an event occurs most often because that's most often when I want a workflow to happen. I want something happened with a contact, a company, an opportunity, a meeting, something happened, and now I want them to go through this workflow. That's most commonly what I use in my workflows, just a note. But for this one, let's say when the property value has changed on the meeting and the meeting outcome is completed. Save. Great. All right. And now what we're going to do is we have the drive, Google Drive. So I wanted to see what our drive options were. So create folder or create a shared drive. I will say this is more limited than I thought. Is that fair?
As far as what you can do with Google Drive,
Yeah.
maybe that's another beta I missed in April that I need to sign up for in the portal, because they just like made it. It's live. So new Google Drive app. So you still have to
Yeah.
install it.
I also wonder, and this is something we in the Will It Workflow series, one thing that I run in that I feel like I'm feeling like we already run into a lot is like when we're looking at nope, just that one. I wasn't sure if it was like the meetings object didn't have as many options, but it doesn't
Oh,
seem like that was the case in this example, at least.
yeah, that could be it.
But yeah, so it
Also,
does
this
seem
is our
like there's
third one in, and this is our first non-HubSpot app that we're trying to involve in the Will It
that's
Work
true.
chain.
But it does seem like there's some new options. Upload file being kind of the one I think I would want here, potentially. I don't know. Do I have a file? Link existing drive. Okay, so let's, with knowing these are our options from a meeting. Okay.
And what's
So
our outcome that we want?
trigger
Trigger
approval.
approval. Okay.
What I'm wondering is if the flow could be something like onboarding meeting complete or kickoff meeting complete. I don't know. Final, whatever, deal stage complete, whatever. Create a shared drive for the new client. And then is there a task to upload documents to that drive? And then a notification for manager or whatever to approve the new project scope.
And how
I
would
will
how is the approval going to happen?
you have to trigger a task creation or something like that to have the drive reviewed. I'm leaning personally off of this use the way I built it so far. Will it workflow? Yes. How would we workflow? Like I just said, should it workflow? I don't know if that's the best way of connecting all those things.
Yeah, definitely. If you don't have like a self-service portal or anything else better than Google Drive Docs, that could be like created and activated. But I think the project management use case and like the communication use case of sharing stuff right after a call, especially now that we have AI capabilities to just draft things for us and auto share. It's the triggering approval that there's a lot more approval tools in HubSpot. So like we've always been able to make tasks or send emails like, hey, you need to approve this thing. But can we interact with like quote approvals or marketing approvals in any way?
Well, another thought here is like, is the approval internal or is whoever we met with approving whatever docs outcomes from the meeting?
Yep. And so I realized we're missing an opportunity to involve Breeze in these conversations
Always.
to get his take on whether or not it will workflow.
Mhm.
And I actually love the response. So he says, I just asked, how would you design a HubSpot workflow using meetings with Google Drive app that results in trigger and approval somewhere in HubSpot? Yes, I design it as meeting trigger to Google Drive action to approval layer in HubSpot. The key limitation is that meetings-based workflows and Google Drive workflow actions don't themselves create a native approval step. So the approval has to happen in a supported HubSpot approval system or in a custom review flow. Option 1, labeled the best overall. Meeting book completed, create or link Drive folder or file, create a HubSpot task or ticket for approval, approver update status, and workflow continues. This is the most flexible design if the thing being approved is a meeting artifact like notes, a proposal draft, call recap, or a supporting document. Option 2, if approval should block sales progress, you could do meeting book completed, attach drive asset, move associated deal into a deal approval stage. HubSpot supports deal pipeline approvals, including approval stages and approvers, and deals can be moved into that stage by workflows. I love involving pipelines and pipeline stages because often we design these meetings around that as well. So you mentioned like a kickoff call or like a deal proposal like session or discovery call or something that can be very much aligned and probably should be aligned with the sales process. And I think that would be a great uplift for sales teams. If like anytime you can make it so they're not having to move the stage forward like themselves, I think is a win. Option 3, if the meeting leads to a quote, you would do meeting book completed, prepare quote materials in Drive, and then route into quote approvals. HubSpot supports standard and advanced quote approvals, and advanced quote approvals are workflow driven in Commerce Hub Enterprise. So lots of options, almost like most of them new, like meetings being able to trigger stuff, the quote approval system, being able to workflow that with the new Commerce Hub Enterprise CPQ stuff. So I think, so I'd say whether or not we should workflow, like if it's a systemized approval process where somebody needs to click a button in a system somewhere, yes, we should definitely approve that, or we should consider workflowing it. If it's just for somebody to, review something and it's going to be like a conversation, it's not really systematized, then maybe there's other ways.
I guess for me, where I keep getting stuck on this one specifically is like I don't know if any of these Google Drive actions like really make sense for the approval use case. Like I think that's where I keep getting stuck is I'm just like, I don't know if any of these actions really make sense. Like sure, we could create a shared drive, but still someone's gonna have to upload docs there and those docs would get approved. Like I guess I'm just like, what? It feels like that piece is missing for me.
Yeah. I think like approvals, I think approvals where it's like, have you done everything? Like, and not necessarily how did you do everything, but like, does the Google Drive exist for the new client? And is all of our standard materials in there? And if we can create a folder and then upload a file from a CRM record property to Google Drive, we could, like anything that was gathered during the sales process, be put in there. And maybe we didn't want to create a Google Drive until they signed, the contract. And then we capture everything in there. Again, if you've already got all that stuff in HubSpot, you're probably only needing to put it in Google Drive because the client can't access your HubSpot and you don't have any other ways to share it with them. Or you have internal teams that don't access HubSpot and you've got to share stuff through Google Drive.
But it's uploading a file from a CRM record property, so that file would have to be like, it's not like the files section of the record,
Right.
which is possible, but I don't know.
Yeah. So we work with a client that like you have to upload your driver's license as a part of the process. And that is on the deal record
Mhm.
as a file property. So that would be the kind of thing, like, especially if you're handing off the post sales that is not in HubSpot,
Mhm.
like instead of like, because there's lots of sensitive information like that gets shared, and you don't necessarily want to bring it outside of HubSpot unless they're going to be like a client and you're actually going to need that saved on your property.
Mhm.
Again, getting a little bit optimistic about the data model that people leverage in HubSpot here. But I know a lot of people that use Google Drive, and they would appreciate some automation around it. So let's finish the day with our object of the day. And I think I still want it to be subscriptions.
But which subscriptions do you mean?
So definitely commerce subscriptions, but I think you start there and then I'll address like the challenges. So go ahead and try to find where subscriptions are.
So you just saw, I will say, I went into CRM. I was going to say, yeah. So I went into CRM and it was not here. And what I was about to do, which is my hack, was just open any of these. So let's say tickets, and then drop down and find subscriptions. But I stopped myself because I remembered I think it's in the commerce tab and then subscriptions, which is true. That worked.
Which it is. Yeah, so subscriptions for commerce. All the MRR and ARR and all those goals that your organization has, like subscriptions has been a big deal for lots of organizations to manage that easier. Can be managed in HubSpot now. You don't always need some special, SaaS optimized subscription focused tool just to track it. And when you can bring it into HubSpot, again, it's right next to all your CRM data, and you can action all of the teams that need to understand the status of subscriptions, whether it's renewals or a bunch of tickets have come through, and now we got to like triage the account. Yeah, and again, not to be confused with communication subscription. So I think I've said in the past, we usually see at some point in those updates, they will use both words. And I just wish it was like everywhere, like mandated, because you have communication subscriptions with 80% of the ecosystem, probably at least, like understands and knows that to be the word subscription related to HubSpot, right? And commerce is new. And I'll never forget when our first profoundly job like got posted, like the first one, and they said they needed help with subscriptions. And 4 out of 4 uh, proposals back assumed it was communication subscriptions, and that they actually needed help with commerce subscriptions. And it was just a beautiful example right out of the gate of how challenging it can be to help people with HubSpot. 1 out of the 4 proposals suggested, unless you're talking about this, then we're having a different conversation. And yeah, so can you show people how to get to this in the data model?
Yes. So I just do the data model settings. Can you get there? view subscriptions and data model. There, that worked. So I went to settings, objects, and then I have the subscriptions object selected, and then I viewed subscriptions in the data model here. Whoop, and then you want me to.
Okay. So that
was different than how you would have gotten there.
Well, yeah, but there was a benefit of having it zoom into subscriptions because you came from settings, which is the first time I've seen it do that, which is cool. But we also have the navigation data model link that you could click on.
This one.
Right. Yep.
Which is what this looks like.
Right. And so that's an overview tab, and then you click on edit to get to here. But again, just to show, like we've got all of these commerce objects, right? And if you haven't, just so many people are missing out on a lot of these. And like the first step is knowing. Let's go into the data model builder. And so again, just like other objects can have custom properties. I don't think we can have pipelines yet. And I think we can associate it to whatever we want. I think that's something we should always check. So lots of custom objects there.
Because I think we already have it associated to.
Yeah, but I'm always looking for the object library objects, which are not present here. So subscriptions looks like they cannot associate with projects, services, listings, courses, and appointments yet. So just keep that in mind. Have you used subscriptions yet?
So my main reason for using subscriptions, and I'm nervous to tell you this because I'm nervous you're going to be like, that's not the best way of doing this, Casey. Why have you been doing it like that? Is for reoccurring invoices.
I mean, that's kind of how it's supposed to be used.
Okay, just making sure. I was just scared you were going to be like, no. I do have some beef with subscriptions. I have a lot of beef with subscriptions, actually.
You're not alone.
I just don't find it flexible enough for my needs. My biggest beef, though, is I can't edit a subscription. It's very difficult to edit a subscription after it's live. And if you do, it emails your client anytime you edit it, which I have this one subscription that somehow, I don't know, I'm sure I was pasting stuff and when I was setting it up, I just made a mistake. And there's a description on the subscription that just has like a trailing letter. Like there's just a letter at the end that doesn't belong there. And it took me a really long time to figure out even like where to edit that. And then I went to edit it and it was like, okay, we're going to send a notification to the client to let them know that you edited their subscription. And I was like, please don't do that. So then I actually never even edited it because I was like, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. They've recently introduced the contracts object to start solving for a lot of these things. Because subscriptions are kind of like a fast and loose way to solve for the ARR, MRR problem that people are trying to solve inside of HubSpot. And like the whole concept of auditability and a paper trail of whenever any edits are made, like if you want to make changes to a contracts object, like you have to do like a change order now or a change quote. And I was talking to the team on Monday, and it was like, we need some spaces that are editable, just to manage internally across teams. That, but it's a challenge because you have to put it in like an auditable rich system. When somebody signs a 12-month contract, there's lots of reasons why you're supposed to lock it down and not be allowed to edit it.
I get it. It's just sometimes.
But maybe not the words. Like, so that was the subscription, our object of the day. And we are all done today, Casey.
We did it.
Remember, folks, the solution you're looking for in HubSpot is probably already there. You just need to wake up to it. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Great day, everybody.